In this video, we'll be looking at different ways people with muscle weakening conditions drive their car. If you're thinking of driving a car, hopefully this video can give you some inspiration. It is possible and you can drive a car with a disability.
Hey everyone, my name is Samuel Langley. I'm 25 years old and I have Duchenne muscular dystrophy. I've been a driver for about 8 years now, after passing when I was around 17 years old.
I'm just going to enter the car, just to show what it's like to get into it. So essentially I've got a clamp here, and what this clamp does is it helps my chair clamp in for a pin under my chair. And sort of a handle here to help me change the gears. There is a phone stand there, which is what I did myself. It's good for Google Maps. There's the ball, there's the wheel, which is like a steering, and that's the push-pull accelerator. And essentially with that is you push to brake, you pull to accelerate, and that's all there is to it. That's how I drive. There are pedals in case someone else wants to drive. I press this button here to close the back. And that's done all for me. I don't have to have anyone else here, which is really helpful. There's only one last thing you need to do, and that's to turn your car on. So all you do is get your key, I pop it in the ignition here, turn it on, and well, hey, I'm ready to go. Last tip I can give you is to give it a try. The hardest thing you can do is to start something, so why not start today? I tried driving 8 years ago, and I'm still driving now. So yeah, life's good.
Hi, I'm Ross. I'm 44 years old and I have spinal muscular atrophy type 2. I passed my driving test in the year 2000, so I've been driving approximately 23 years. I have always had hand controls in the form of joysticks. Most recently, on my latest vehicle here, I have predominantly a system called Space Drive, whereby I have two joysticks, one that I use my right hand to do the steering with, and the other that is a backwards and forwards, which does the accelerator and brake. That is because I don't have the ability and strength to turn a steering wheel or the ability to use my legs to use the pedals. I also have a gear selection system, so I can go between park, reverse, neutral and drive because it's an automated car. I have a 9-way bleeper system on top of the steering joystick, which allows me to control the secondary functions of the car, such as the indicator, the wipers, the horn. There's a tie-down system on the floor, which it's called a permalock. It allows my permobil wheelchair to lock into the vehicle securely, so that when I'm driving, I don't move around. I've got a larger rear view mirror just to help with visibility. But to be honest, this particular vehicle comes with a load of extra features which make it really accessible and adapted without having to have other adaptations. So it's got a 360 camera, so front, reverse and over the top, which makes parking easy. It's got blind spot indicators, which make it easy to see what's alongside me without having to do physical big head movements. And also it's got a ramp on the side, which you'll see in a moment, which helps me. It's a lift, not a ramp, that helps me get into the vehicle. This is the Space Drive joystick, left to right to steer. This is the Space Drive accelerator and brake. And this here is the gear selector. This is the 9-way bleeper system that does the secondary controls. With hand controls and adaptations, driving is the one thing you can be in control of.
Hi, my name's Gemma. I'm 39 and I have type 3 spinal muscular atrophy. I've been driving now for over 23 years. I drove when I was 16 and I passed my theory and my practical tests after the first attempt. So I passed my driving test actually about 5 months after I turned 16. I have a few adaptations to my vehicle. When I first started driving, I was actually still walking, so I used to have a hoist that lifted my wheelchair into the back of the car, into the boot, and then I would walk around to the front. As my condition deteriorated, that obviously needed to be changed, and I now have a WAV, a wheelchair accessible vehicle, So I drive from my wheelchair. The boot opens, the suspension lowers. I go in via the back and lock into position, drive straight from my wheelchair as I no longer walk. And I have a few adaptations. So I still use my feet, but I can't lift one leg from one pedal to the other. So I have like a kind of platform to rest my heels on, and then I can use each foot, one for the brake, one for the accelerator. I have an adaptation on the gear sticks, so it's just buttons rather than the big gear stick that you would normally find in a car. And I just literally press whichever button I need to press, so park, reverse, neutral or drive. And the handbrake again is just a button, so everything's that little bit easier for me. I have the handbrake button, and on the right are the buttons for me to open and close the boot myself. Above that is the button that disengages my wheelchair from the lockdown system, so I press that before I want to get out of the car, so that can release me. This is the steering wheel, which is lightened considerably to enable me to drive, otherwise it's too difficult for me to turn it. I must say, when I started driving, I don't think I really saw any worries because I was a little bit more mobile then. So I wasn't too worried back then, it was a while ago now. But the benefits obviously then and now is my independence. That's the biggest benefit, is independence. Without my car I wouldn't be able to get around. But obviously now that my condition's changed, my main worry is obviously getting stuck. Like, God forbid if I should have an accident, I'm in my wheelchair. If I couldn't get out the back for any reason, that's a big worry. And if I broke down, obviously getting home, it's not like I could just get in a recovery vehicle like other people can. If my car does break down, I can't have a hire vehicle. The Motability have been pretty good with helping me to get taxis if my car is in for repair, but that is the biggest inconvenience. But the benefits way outweigh the difficulties, and the benefits is my independence. I work full time, I'm able to get to work, I'm able to just do what I want when I want with my independence, with the help from my carer. Driving is the best thing I did. I couldn't imagine my life without being able to drive and get around independently. So if I can do it, anyone can. Make it happen.
Hi, my name's Kev. I'm 38 years old and I have back and muscular dystrophy. I've been driving my wheelchair accessible vehicle for nearly 10 years. I drive with space drive hand controls because I have a weakness in my arms and legs. It took a little while to get used to driving with hand controls, but now it's as easy as driving my wheelchair.
So on the left side we have the steering, we have the handbrake, we have the insert key, the gears, the ignition start and stop, and the wheelchair lock release. And on the right we have the accelerate and brake.
Drive from your wheelchair and explore the accessible world.
I'm Tasha Woods, I'm 53 and I've got spinal muscular atrophy type 2. I've been driving for 36 years. I love it. It has completely changed my life. I have adaptations that involve a joystick steering, a joystick accelerator and brake, lots of touch controls that are super light, making it really easy because of my limited weakness. So I drive straight in with a belt. To the right there is the joystick steering. So just like that, easy steering. And to the left is the accelerator brake steering. Accelerator and brake. All the windows are here, radio and the lock for the wheelchair. I also have the fan there so I can turn on the fan. All lots of light buttons straight in front of that do various things like the lights, the lockdown of the chair, opening and closing the windows. And then if we go slightly to the right, you will see the touch button gears. For me, driving has been freedom, independence, and limitless opportunities, both personally and professionally. I know it might seem daunting, but be brave and conquer. I promise you, you won't regret it.
My name is Chris Towler, I'm 27 years old and my disability is called spinal muscular atrophy type 3. I've had my driving licence since 2015, but I've had my present vehicle for 3 years. My present vehicle features a ramp that allows me to access the vehicle from my electric wheelchair. It features a steering ball to allow me to turn the steering wheel with one hand, and a push-pull brake system where you push to brake, pull to accelerate, with an indicator on the top which you operate with your thumb. I have these adaptations because my motor function in my legs and strength in my legs is quite poor, so this allows me to do all the driving just with my arms and the upper half of my body. This is the ball that allows me to turn my steering wheel with one hand. This is the box that holds my wheelchair in place to act as a driver's seat. This is the system that allows me to accelerate and brake my car with the indicator on top in blue.
It's definitely worth exploring. If you can drive, it will make a massive positive difference to your life.